Hello, friends. It's been a while. Welcome back to the Claim Your Magic podcast with me, Sabrina Scott. It's been a fucking long time. From eclipse season to eclipse season. I think the last time I released an episode was in April of this year, just after that eclipse season, when we did actually get to experience totality here in Canada, which is pretty fucking wild. And eclipse season just ended. Eclipse season, whatever number it was this year, ended on, I think, October 2nd or something like that, which hilariously was also the day after I launched the Kickstarter, my first Kickstarter ever, for my new upcoming graphic novel. So, lots to update you guys on. I am recovering from being sick as a dog, basically, since I launched that Kickstarter. So, lots to say about that. Lots to update you guys on, lots to say, and this might not be super long since my voice is still a little bit struggling, but if you're new here, hi. If you are an oldie but goodie pal, I don't know how to phrase it, my brain is still a bit fried from being sick, but if you've been a fan of this show for a while, welcome back. So happy to have you back and listening, so thank you. I guess I'll try to remember what my little speech was, but the Claim Your Magic podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, I talk all about life, love, healing, spirituality, witchcraft, magic, what else? Energy, feminine energy, trauma, healing, living a good life, being happy, thinking thoughts, being smart, being authentic, being confident, and living a fucking vibrant, good, happy life. That is ultimately what all my work is about. Helping people become who they want to be. And I missed you guys. It's been a long time. And in the interim of however many months it's been, 6 months probably at least, the app that I use to upload all the podcasts has completely changed, and so everything is changing. Everything is crazy. So please bear with me as I relearn how to have a podcast. So there's so much to say, I almost don't even know where to start, but this year has been a big year of change and catalysts, and I guess every year to some extent is about change, but I feel like this year in particular, perhaps since it's a leap year, I've had more realizations this year than the past few, and more realizations than any other year other than other leap years. And the last leap year was 2020. Big year for me, a lot changed, and I'm sure a lot changed for a lot of us as well during that time. And I think we're experiencing a similar shift in energy, in energetic downloads, realizations, big changes in who we are and who we want to be and how we perceive ourselves to be existing in this beautiful, epic, interesting, changing world that we live in. So, okay, I don't even know where to start, you guys. I have so much to say, and I've said a lot of it on my newsletter, so if you are not subscribed to that, send me a hello and I'll get you sorted out. But I guess the big news is that since I last recorded a podcast episode, I actually started and finished painting my entire next graphic novel. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. And I really needed to just focus on it. Like, I wasn't on YouTube, I wasn't on Instagram nearly as much as I have been. I just wanted to spend all my time and energy painting and leaning into this fucking project, this next book, it's crazy to talk about because it's a project that I've been working on for a very long time, and it's a sequel to my first graphic novel, which is called Witchbody. Maybe some of y'all know it, but the new book is called Body Magic, and the subtitle of it is a graphic novel about witchcraft, trauma, and healing. So it's a bit of a doozy. I'm sure it sounds like one, and it is. And it's the most vulnerable project I've ever made. That's just a fact. It is incredibly vulnerable, and I think that's a big part of why it's taken me so long to actually dip my toes into beginning to share this project with the world. It's a scary book to share, and I don't think there's any accident that I got sick, like literally 2 hours before clicking publish on my first ever Kickstarter, which is funding the Risograph edition for this book. And I'm still sick, so please excuse my sniffles, which will probably happen a little bit as I'm talking. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. And I do believe in science, obviously, so I went to the doctor a few days ago. She said it was a virus, and my lungs sound great, and I'm okay, and I'll be fine. And while I think that's true, while I know that's true, again, science is a thing, I also believe in the energetics of the body. And one of the things I've learned during my PhD is that emotions do get trapped in the body, and they can cause and contribute to chronic illness or even just little illnesses here and there. And so to me, it makes sense that this is part of probably what was kind of going on for me. The illness that I've had, the virus, has been mostly in my throat, sore throat, and my chest has been a little bit feeling like someone is sitting on me. So that is, of course, the throat chakra and the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the bridge between the more spiritual, abstract chakras and the physical body. So the heart chakra is this beautiful bridge between these two different, yet of course always connected parts of ourselves. And this book does come from the heart. Like, it's literally kind of memory. It's very vulnerable. It's very raw. It's very real. And it talks a lot about my childhood, my trauma. It talks about rape a little bit, not a ton. But it does mention that as something that I've been through and have been healing from. And the book talks a lot about how trauma is a little bit of an entryway into magic and witchcraft. And it can kind of teach us magic in a way, right? Because when we're in a traumatized state, we often end up in this altered state of consciousness, whether we want to or not, as a way to protect ourselves. And while I wouldn't wish trauma on literally anybody, that is a skill that is really useful when it comes to magic and witchcraft. And so I talk about a lot of these really complicated connections and relationships in this next new book. And it's really fucking real. And it's a book that I was like, oh my God, maybe I can just go my whole life and like never publish this and like, whatever, no one will care. But I knew and I know that this just has to happen. This book just has to be released. It has to go out there. And that's just how I feel about it. And it's really horrifying. It's really scary. It's really vulnerable. But I'm doing it because I believe this book can help people. I hope that it will be a light in the darkness for a lot of people who are still working on their healing or who still feel like bummed out and weighed down by some of the things they've been through. And for me, witchcraft really is what made all the difference in my healing process. It was witchcraft over most other things, if not everything. And so, hence the Kickstarter. There'll be a link to it in the show notes, I guess, of this episode. I've been spamming it all over the place. So if you want to know about it, let me know. You can also probably search on Kickstarter for my name, and the book title is called Body Magic. But the reason I'm trying to fundraise for a risograph edition is my graphic novels, more so than my prose books, are meant to be talismans. They're meant to be kept with you at all times. They're meant to be written in, drawn in, colored in. They're meant to be a bit of a grimoire. They're meant to be a bit of a good luck charm. They're meant to be an object that gives you power and inspiration and strength in times of need, and times of sadness, and times of just needing a little bit of extra wind in your sails. And the Risograph edition, those of y'all who have been here for a while, and some of y'all might be book nerds and zine nerds, but Risograph, if you don't know what it is, it's really cool. And so it all has to be printed by hand. So every single Risograph edition book is going to be a little bit different. Some pages are going to be darker than others, and the page that's darker is going to be different from book to book. Like, how fucking cool is that? That it is all completely done by hand. And what's really interesting about Risograph is, and why I chose this for my graphic novels, first editions, is there's a tactility to it. Risograph ink dries like 99.9%, but that extra 0.01% or whatever the number is, it will kind of like allow your fingerprints to reveal themselves on the book. So it doesn't mean you're going to get dirty as you're reading it. Like, don't worry, you're not going to stain your white pants. It's all good. But what it means is the book will show you where you linger. The Risograph edition of the book will show you where you've been, just like a forest path where there's like one line of a place that everyone has walked again and again and again, which creates this pathway. It reminds me of, I'm going to pronounce this totally badly, so for all my French speakers, I'm so sorry. But I remember being in France and going to some of the like really interesting places to visit in Paris specifically. And here is where I'm going to fuck up the pronunciation. Sacré-Cœur, I like always fuck it up. That one. And it's like this fucking spiral that just goes on forever. And it's like this spiral that you just walk and you feel like you're going insane, and you're just touching the side of it with your hand to keep you steady in the most narrow pathway up and up and up and up to see the most beautiful view of the city. But those steps, since they're like 1,000 years old or something like that, the middle part where everyone always puts their foot is like, it's like there's like a divot, like a space that kind of like angles down, showing you that, wow, this stone has withered away over 1,000 years or whatever, where everyone has been walking this same path up these steps. And why I like Risograph is it's kind of like that, but in book form. And so you'll see like the tackiness, like the little black spots, the places where there is that imprint of your finger on the pages that become your favorites. And for those of you who are familiar with my philosophies, like you'll know that one of my big things is the beauty and importance of our relationship with objects, the importance of our relationship with the non-human. And I love this form of printing because it really reveals our relationship to the book and the book's relationship with us. The book touches us with this Risograph ink, and we touch it back. And this form of printing, it reveals that really beautiful relationship between human and object, between witch and book. And for me, that is just super magical. And I love remembering that. Sorry, my cats are like hissing at each other as I'm recording this. I don't know if you guys heard that. But to me, there is something really magical about that relationship being revealed in that physical form. It's just beautiful to me. And so I really do hope that this Risograph edition gets funded from this Kickstarter, because I can't afford to do it otherwise. It's like more than 10 grand, right? I think it's about 10 grand American, 13,000 Canadian. And I can't front that. And so it's really only going to happen if you guys want it to happen. And we'll see. There's no guarantees in life, so who knows? Maybe there will be no Risograph edition of this book. Maybe it will just be the Amazon edition. But give it a look. Let me know what you guys think. And if you've got any questions about that, let me know. I'm pretty excited about it all. And yeah, the book will be with everybody in January, and I will be releasing an Amazon edition. But it's going to have a bit of a different feeling to it. You guys know Amazon books, and like, I love them, don't get me wrong. But the feeling is definitely so different from something that is Risograph printed. So just keep that in mind as you hopefully pledge to the Kickstarter. So what else I want to talk about? Lots of things going on, but that's the main one, is that new book. Maybe I'll leave it there for now. That's a pretty big news, and hopefully the way that I record this is going to work properly. But there's a lot going on in my universe. A lot of things are shifting. A lot of things are hopefully ending and beginning again, and all of that. So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. You can find my website, sabrinamscott.com. It's a little bit outdated. I need to update it, so bear with me. If you're curious about any of my courses, I would love to hear from you. CEO@sabrinamscott.com. If you would like a reading or anything like that, you can check out sabrinamscott.com/readings. And of course, I'm over on Instagram at SabrinaMScott. And I am over on YouTube at youtube.com/Sabrina Scott. So that's it for now. Much love. Talk to you guys soon. And it's nice to be back talking with y'all. Take care.